Day 28. 2, 5, 3, 8. Yeah. Adding something. I don't know. Day 28. Or hashtag walking with Wiz. Hashtag walking with Wiz. Hashtag walking with Wiz. Yeah. It's Saturday, Sunday, someday. I don't know. Saturday, Sunday, someday. It's some type of day today. It is what it is. 2 days left. That's where I'm at right now. I'm thinking, I'm looking. You know how I feel right now? I feel like, what the hell? That might be a part two. Because, okay. And we recorded. Perfect. All right, good. No part two. Those shows like, what was it called? Like The Alone or The Naked and Afraid or something. And they stuck on the island or somewhere for like such and such days and they're alone or surviving and stuff like that. That's how I feel right now. Like 2 days left. I don't know who's gonna survive. I don't know if I can make it. Yeah. I'm in it. Yeah, no. One thing I want to really touch on and brighten the surface is I've produced a tract every fucking day and I love it. I love it. You know, it's been challenging. It really has, to get out of the old rut and get into the new rut or the new version of myself. Because I broke habits. I broke a routine, this and this and that, and then just basically adjusted myself to be a better version of myself, and then also improving on certain aspects. You know, it felt like it wasn't too long ago where I was reading manuals for my plugins and learning new DAWs. Like when I left the Reason Propeller Head after decades of using it, I went on my journey on trying to find a simplified form in a DAW that's going to complement my workflow. And man, I kind of lucked up. I really did, because I didn't hop around on like 100 different DAWs. Now, the thing is when I first started on Reason, I knew I was, messing around with Cakewalks and Cakewalk, and then there was Sonar. I think now they're merged, I don't know. But there was Sonar, there was Cakewalk, Fruity Loops, Final Cut Pro. Oh man, there were so many programs that were around in that era, and I messed around with all of them, and including Pro Tools. You guys remember that M box? I had one of them. That was like the legendary piece to have. You had an M box, you knew you was doing something. You know what I'm saying? It was dope. So I had one of them. Mess around with Pro Tools. I wasn't a fan of Pro Tools. I just think Pro Tools just got a name, because all the industry people use it. You know what I'm saying? But it's all up to you. Oh yeah, I got walnuts. Let's see if I can get them over there. They're gonna love these things. Look at me, ADD, about to cross the street, get hit by a car just to go feed birds walnuts. Thank you. Someone let me go. All right. Thank you. They're gonna be like, wait a minute. This ain't normal. All right, I'm all done. All right, look both ways. I don't want to be that goddamn thing, you know what I mean? Those movies, all of a sudden the guy turns around, wham! All right, so I was messing around with Reason, and then what happened with Reason was is their operating system just wasn't really responsive and strong enough, and it made me feel like I didn't have a good computer and this and that, and It got to the point when I think I was running fat filters and I couldn't even operate with them. I couldn't run like 2 of them or something like that, and it was the Pro Q. I'm like, there's no way. Like, this didn't even make any sense. And it really was frustrating because I was running a computer back then that I thought was a beast. And then I finally ended up getting a beast, and I still had the same problems. And I was so bold because, like, in those times, coming up with some money for a good base computer or even just a laptop was not cheap. It was very expensive when they first started coming through. So I was upset and very, very highly upset about it all. So I got another one, and then finally I got it to run. But I was like, dang, it's like $3,000-$4,000 later, and now I can operate my system. But then all of a sudden it started slowing down and things started acting quirky again. And I was like, come on, man, this is nuts. So after doing research and stuff like that, I found out it wasn't my computer. It was the actual system that they had, and for some apparent reason, it just couldn't run third-party plugins or VST and applications. And now here comes the kicker: was that when I left that, after having experience in another DAWs, I just refused to go through some of them and go back to Pro Tools and other DAWs as well. And I went into Logic because at that time I was a part of an area where they were all using it for TV film and sync licensing, and they all swore about it. But I got it, and I had to learn that. So this is the journey, I had to learn that, and I did. I learned it, and I actually produced a couple albums, and they came out pretty dope. So I did that, and then I found a little thing where it was like, because I was converting some of my files over and folders, and then it came to a point where, like, even some of my splice sounds and stuff like that, which I was told to use and download, I couldn't preview them. I'd be in a jam, man, and I'm like, all right, let me go in this folder. Let me I need a clap or a snap. And I could drag them in, and they would play and everything, but when I'm on the browser going down, trying to hear, nothing would play. This was so annoying. I had some people looked at it, into it for me. People who like diehard fans of Logic, and I even went on some Snapchat calls or whatever. I have paid people even to come on and checked it out, but nothing. I sent tickets into Apple, and we all know how that is. Good luck with that end. So they never fixed it, and here it is. A few years later or whatever, they still didn't fix it. I've heard from a friend of mine that he's like, man, sometimes I can't preview some of my sounds that I used to be able to preview. And I hated that. And it's a small little gripe, but it was enough to mess up my workflow. All right? And then the other aspect was copying your clips. For some apparent reason, now I end up fixing this scenario, but by then I was already had enough. Like, you copy your clips and it wouldn't copy it on the grid the way it was, and you had to do certain things to make sure it snapped to the grid and all that. But I learned that. That was a pain, I'll tell you that, because I went around making a lot of tracks without being able to do that. And man, I hated it. It just was so time consuming, man. It really was. So I was like at a crossroad now, and I'm like, man, I miss my reason, and I'm using this Logic, and I don't really care for it. Beats weren't coming out that great because I was still getting used to it. And then finally, I ended up making the Glow album for Mike Stees. Shout outs to Mike Stees. Hope you and the family doing well. And I produced that for him and did everything in Logic, really. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of daunting and baffling at the same time because I was learning the software, but I knew what I wanted to hear. You see what I mean? It was weird. Then, once I got tired of all the nonsense, I had this big pause where I wasn't even looking at music or anything. It was about a good week because I was like really trying to figure this all out. And I had the Kai AK-49 keys or something, and that came with a lot of stuff. And one of the things that it came with, Ableton Light. So I said, oh, this shit came with a program. And okay, I installed the program. And then I didn't even install that MPC program that came with the Kai at that time. And I rocked the MPC one, and I just didn't like it at all. I was like, no way, how are people thinking this is like the old way? It's just not, I couldn't mess with it. I made a bunch of tracks, but I just couldn't find my flow with it. And then I jumped over to Light, Ableton Light, and I think you could only have like 8 tracks or something like that. And right away, I found my love. I found like the whole system. I was like, man, this shit reminds me of Reason, but more advanced, like on Souped Up, you know. It reminded me of that. So I started messing with it, and then I was like taking 2 tracks, converting them to 1. So it was like so old school, like 8 tracks, convert them to 1, and then keep bouncing them down and stuff just to get more tracks. But I was making a couple little bangers off that, and I was like, okay, this is dope. And I started deep diving into it and doing some research, and then I stumbled into the Push 2. Push 3, you guys gotta stop that. Take that shit off the market. Do it the right way or don't put it out at all. Come on, cut it out. You're trying to come out with an iCore 3 in the era of iCore 20, 100 million, billion. that was a red flag right there. It's like, what? You guys are coming out with a unit with an iCore 3. You could tell that they made it already, had it on the shelf, and then they finally decided to release it. That's a whole nother video. Blam. So Push 2. When I saw this, I said, whoa, because gotta remember, I'm coming from the MPC era, MPC 2000 XL, and even though I loved the ASR 10, everything used to go into the MPC. Everything. My modules, my MoFat, my motif, all the instruments will be directly going into the motif. Everything, because I'd play and sample them right into there and then work the system that way. So I got into Ableton, and then I bought the first version, and I was in love. I was like, oh wow, heaven, heaven, heaven. And then I upgraded, and then we end up getting the Push, and that just was life-changing because it had the familiarity of me still being on my old MPC 2000 XL, but just more advanced. I was like, oh, you know, it was just different. Even the pads are smaller and all that. That's one thing I did not like. It's like there was no reason to put 100 and something pads on the damn thing, or 64 pads on the damn thing. Like, but it is what it is. End up getting used to it. You know, you get used to things like that. But man, coming from them big fat pads of the MPC era to these little square ones, it was kind of weird. I went through the phase where one finger was hitting 4 or 5 pads at the same time by accidentally when I was just trying to hit one. But again, it's like anything else. You get used to things like that. All right? And we're going to go take that turn up the hill and do that walk because I said, like yesterday, we're trying to get this training and get ourselves in that endurance moving. So it's hot out, but we got to push through it and get this working. So that's what it is. Good morning. You have a great day. So now Push 2 is here, and I was in heaven, man. Like, bam, I organizing my stuff and this and this and that. And I finally upgraded. We upgraded to the suite, and it's life-saving. I haven't turned back, to be honest. This is the hill. I am not gonna run up this hill because I got 2 days left, and I don't want to quit my last 2 days because I did something amazing and phenomenal, and then I pushed myself to the limit. This right now is enough. This is pushing, doing that walk down, walk back, and then going up a hill when I should be going home. My video is long, but all right, let's wrap this up. I got sidetracked because I was talking about music. You see what happened? You see that? So that's what happened. Yeah, I've never turned back to Reason. I know they came out with this Reason thing that you can have Reason in other programs and all that, and that's all great, but man, like, cut it out. And then I think they did a subscription model based thing. So see, I'm all set with y'all. I gave you enough of my money. Trust me. I was a diehard Reason user. Upgraded over 14 something times or 15 times. They only got 12. I was a beta tester. Holy shit. Excuse me. Sorry. I was a beta tester, and it was just a done deal. It was done. Man. It's like walking up that thing, man. It's like I ran that. Yeah. It's like, man, it's thick up here. You think I ran right now? I ain't running. Just got this thing on. My sweating bullets. Wow, it hits you. This ain't no joke. But when I first started this journey, I wasn't able to do this. You see what I'm saying? And let's pause on that, because I want to finish up my push 2 talk. So now here I am. And I got that suite, and the suite is amazing. Like, you gotta just fully dive in when you get the chance to. And I haven't been able to even catch up and explore everything because I've been so concentrated and focused on just producing. But during this challenge, I've been able to explore and get more familiar with my tools and my plugins. That's why you guys call them plugins, I call them tools. You know? And as every producer goes through it, we get the shiny ball syndrome, and we go buy every freaking plugin that we can possibly can, because we think it's cool to have all these options. And then, and then when you're in a session and you're looking for that one compressor, and you click on it, and your screen's like, you're scrolling through one scroll of screen to get to another screen. That ain't cool. It ain't cool, because it's all about your workflow and being sufficient. So you're sitting in a session and you're looking for a compressor. You can't find it because you got too many plugins. Or even better yet, you're in a mixdown session. You got a client paying for you and you're looking for plugins. Like, you don't know how much time saver it is just to consolidate what you're doing with your tools and utilize the ones that you grab and use. And that's how I did it. For example, I got a new system for the production, and not even a quarter of the plugins that I have on the MacBook Pro are on the new system at all. Not even. It's fat filters, UADs. That's it. There's probably maybe 1 or 2 plugins that I might use that are not UAD or fat filters. And then maybe a set of waves, the NLS system. And the only reason why I use that is because my buddy had hooked me up with a template, and I just discovered how phenomenal those things are for summing and creating a certain harmonic to your drums and to your mix. So I'm learning this shit, but it's fun. So yeah, I don't use nothing else. Oh, just got the standard clipper, you see? So just got the standard clipper, and I'm loving it because, whoa, RMS levels, hello. I did not use it yesterday's track, but I went back after I was done and applied some of the tactics to it, and I couldn't believe how much volume I got to increase without distorting. So maybe that might be the thing today. I'm still trying to find out the chain of operation on it. You know what I'm saying? Still trying to find out where to put it. I know sometimes people say before your limiter, after your limiter. You know, me, I intend to do different stages. I do the beat and mix down stage in one session, export out, and then master down. It works for me, I guess. It's better that way. The way I have my template set up. You know, I got the mix bus being glued in with the SSLG bus, and there's also a Fat Filter Pro C on that. That's just to glue things together and then also do some mid-side processing as well. And then that goes into the master, and that master has the NLS with a satin, Fat Filter satin, and then the black box, and then a BX EQ pumping into the guard particle. Bam. Sounds complex now that I think about it. Anyways. And then I export that out and I bring it into a master stage where I have all Fat Filter stuff down there. So what I did yesterday after I was done, I tested it out and I put it behind the limiter to see if I can squeeze some juice, but also prevent my main primary limiter from doing all the work, because that's what it's there for. That's why some people use clippers, is so they don't have to exert their limiter, and also to, you know, obviously clip the signal and gain some volume and control your RMS levels, which is huge. And I'm loving it because it's like geek nerdy stuff. It is what it is. So coming to an end, and I got sidetracked. I didn't get back to that thing where I said hold the thought, because I got sidetracked with the music again, and I loved it because it took me away from all this pain and soreness. But at the end of the day, it's day 28, and I'm excited, man. I am, and I'm proud of myself because I got to discover not just things about myself, but also embark a lot of different things with my production, and I learned a lot, and that, man, is dope. It really is. So I'm gonna continue on that process, and I'm clocking in today. It's the Hip Hop Sunday for me. Sunday. I don't know, whatever. Day 28. Hashtag walking with. Y'all stay blessed. Have a beautiful, productive, and a wonderful Sunday. Stay blessed, everybody. My brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. It's day 28. And it's hashtag walking with. Yeah.